Welcome back to Turn on the Lamp podcast. It's your host, Devin Lamp, and I'm so excited about our next guest. His name is Roy, a guy that I have grew to know very well over this past year. Roy, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I'm happy to be here.
What do you feel like this season of life that God has you in, and
hmm
how have you been able to navigate that?
Um, in this season, I would say it's been a lot of change, but in a good way. I
Mhm.
feel a lot of just different parts of me is growing, and just when life moves 1,000 miles per hour, like you have to like take some time, like breathe in and really soak in the moment. So I've been trying to focus more in on that and just be more so present in the moment with
Mhm.
family, friends, things I have to do, etc. But how I've been doing that, I've been just trying to stay more into my word, being more purposeful and not just like one time a day or like a small little segment a day. Just be more intentional and just having more time to talk to God, whether it's like like sitting down like quietly somewhere or just whenever I'm out, just being appreciative.
Why is that so important for believers to be intentional? You know, we live in a society where you can get caught up in the day to day things, whether it's, pouring into other people and then vice versa as well. Why is it so important to make sure that we're strategic and intentional about getting in our word?
Because man, it's like it could seem very cliche, but it's
Mhm.
truly a roadmap on how we're supposed to do it. And we're all made from sin, so we're gonna fall short, but it gives us no excuse to work towards that. Just truly try to perfect the person that we are. And there's a lot of things, man, like you can't look at other people's races. You just have to handle whatever God placed in front of you and just being intentional about it. Like you see the fruits that happens. Like I just recently I'm currently in it still. I'm on a fast to where it's not like a truly harsh fast, but I wake up at 7 a.m. like weekdays, and I read a chapter of Romans, and I take notes about it, and just being more so intentional about it. Like the book of Romans has a lot of like mind altering, like just like truly focusing in and being more locked in with just like a not so like stuck in mindset, just truly being adaptive and
Mhm.
truly being able to like find different parts of yourself that you never knew you had.
When did you
Mhm.
first come to know the faith in Jesus?
Um, So I would say just overall in life, I was raised in the faith, but me being intentional about it was, I believe it was the summer or like the fall going into 2016, which was my senior year. I was recently moving from Texas to, no, yes, from Texas, like Plano, Texas to Slidell, Louisiana. And at that time, mentally, like I was probably, I would say, at my lowest because I just truly didn't have much confidence, value in myself. I was going to counseling at the time, and one of the experiments was I had a whiteboard, and she told me to write five things. Well, no, not five. Write as many things that I liked about myself in 5 minutes. So I was thinking, I was just sitting there thinking, and I wrote a few things, and it was probably like 1 or 2 minutes. I gave my therapist back the board, and I was like, I'm done. All I had on the board was I'm funny, I'm nice, and I have good hair.
Mm.
So at that time, like she truly like told me like you have to devote yourself towards yourself and not like beat myself up because I just didn't see myself as much. So Whenever I moved to Louisiana, I started to pray intentionally in the shower because I felt like, well, first we came into this world like like at like our most vulnerable form, um, like with no clothes or anything. So I felt like that would be my most vulnerable moment. And in the shower, you're literally by yourself, and you have like, of course, the shower is running, but you have like more of a solitude, more of a quiet time, more of a intentional time. So throughout that senior year, it was probably all the way until maybe my sophomore or junior year in college where I stopped, like where I had like a pause because it was truly like through the hard transition of college and through the hard transition of being away from friends that I knew for years, just like finding myself again. And that, like, from those points, I truly found a self confidence. I started to love myself. Um, I didn't think of myself just as like whatever I could provide to somebody else. I thought of myself as a person, a human being. So those intentional moments truly led me to like I wouldn't say I'm as strong then now, but it put me on the right path.
For sure. Talk about the importance of that solitude. You mentioned, you were kind of isolated from what you were previously familiar with once
Mhm.
you got in college. Why is that solitude so important? Because all throughout the Bible, we read how God separates someone and basically puts them in a season to where they have no choice but to draw on to him. And that's when they create that intimacy, like you were saying. So, why
Yeah.
is that solitude so important for a believer?
I believe it's important because the devil tries any way to distract us from what God has for us. So he will use anything, and we kind of think of the devil. Well, we kind of get portrayed the devil as just like this red horn demon that just looks so scary and just will take advantage of anybody. But he was actually a transformative being that would look like some of the most beautiful things you ever seen to distract you. So the solitude was something that I felt made me more so notice the like the blessings and the the messages that God was sending while like in real time. Like
Mm.
instead of just praying for something and then just hoping that it's going to happen, whenever we have those intentional times, you can be able to see the messages and it will never be in something like it can be, but it will always be in something like that we're paying attention to and we could just see like flashes of signs or we can get the messages to people, but those solitude times open your ears and open your eyes to notice when God is talking to us and leading us.
One word that has really stuck with me lately is the word discipline and having
Yeah.
spiritual disciplines and really just being on one accord of like having non negotiables in a way. So, how are spiritual disciplines important in our lives? And what are some particular spiritual disciplines that you implement to make sure that you're not like kind of floating over the gray line?
I would say prayer, just praying, um, like starts off my level of discipline, but I would say just setting parameters of things that would trip us up or distract us and like setting boundaries to where you will notify yourself whenever you get close because a lot of those distractions or things that will knock us off of our discipline will be things that will seem comfortable, things that we've been used to, like like systems or like patterns that we've always had. So the discipline to knock it off or making a new pattern, that was really good for me. And one thing I've like I said before, the fast that I did, but just like waking up early, like being more intentional with like instead of going out or um like going out to get different foods or whatever, like meal planning or just making more attention to clean my house, like appreciating the things that God's blessed me with. So I just feel more of appreciation to give thanks and um, like continue to search, not really search, but just be more intentional to go back to my word. So all those things like kind of wrap into how I try to stay rooted and try to obviously you're gonna be distracted at certain times of your life, but try to like reconnect whenever those things happen.
You mentioned something that as I'm listening, man, I'm like, man, that is so true. And it's the idea centered around stewardship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kind of like realizing that God is in all things, not just the super spiritual things, but something as simple as like cleaning the house that He provided for
Mm-hmm.
you, or,
Mm-hmm.
stewarding our temple, whether that's working out, whether that's eating better. How do we go about making sure that we steward the small things and not just the big things? It's easy to look at the big picture in life, but how do we make sure that we're taking time to slow down to appreciate the small things that He's put in front of us?
Absolutely. It's definitely it goes by decisions and it's a step by step decision. And even whenever we like get clouded of the big picture is knocked out in small segments. Like you can't just knock the whole thing out in one fell swoop. So just being like very, very selective in like certain times where like I would be either consumed on my phone, watching sports or something. Like I would see the clothes that I didn't fold for I don't know, God knows when. I'll see the dishes in the sink, and it's just like you. I would have like a mental fog. So whenever I walk around my house and I see the things that aren't done, I'm like, bro, if I set aside that moment to just be appreciative or just knock out the things that I had a guy who told me, but it was kind of like a ideology or just like a system, like a mental system that you could have of like if you walk around your house and you see things that aren't done, you see things that like are dirty or messy or whatever. Think of it as what will be the impact if you put 15 minutes solely to this task? Could you finish it? And if you can, knock it out.
How was having a child, how did that change you internally? And what do you feel like God was speaking through you on raising a son and holding that important space in his life?
Man, it's amazing. It's truly my favorite job because it's the one investment that I could have that like through any small interaction, through any small just time with them, like it just fit like it's it's a blessing to have a person that loves you that it doesn't matter where you are in life, but they still love you with everything in them. And that just makes me that much more appreciative of the things to try to give it to him in a better position than that I have. And all throughout high school, like just growing up, I wanted my child at the time that I had him because I didn't want to, and it's no offense to it, I'm not throwing no slugs, but I didn't want to be an old parent because I felt like the true time that I'm gonna grow, that I'm gonna form into the man that I am today is in these times at the college, which is exactly when I had my child. Like I graduated in the August of 2022, and he was no in 2021, and he was born June of 2021. So just that time frame, like of um, the overall like the way that it shifted my mindset is just putting things above myself more so. Not truly being down and beating myself up too much because it will never be like whatever effort I have. in the right direction is more than enough for him because he understands and he sees all those things.
You mentioned earlier how Satan tries to distract us from what
Mm,
God's image and God's picture of each category in life is. And one important aspect that Satan is really attacking in today's society is family. The idea
yeah.
of, having a father in the household or whatever that may be. So,
Hmm.
talk about as people, how can we be more intentional about pouring more time into our family instead of just devoting all our time in pursuing a career or things like that? How can we
Yeah.
invest more time in the people and building the family that God has given us?
Um, I feel like a big part of family um is joining them or going to them where they're at because sometimes we get caught up in how previously times were or how previously interactions was with family. So truly not taking like not really taking advantage, but not letting people grow as
Mhm.
human beings because we're all going to be able to grow and we're all going to have different interactions. We're not always going to be the same, but just loving them the same because of who they are and not just of what they done for you. And the time that we have in this world is priceless because we can't get it back. So the small little tokens of appreciation that it goes with family, sometimes you may think that it goes unnoticed, but some just a phone call to my grandfather at a time where I just recently lost my grandmother in November. Um, just the calls with him to be able to lift his spirits up and just to hear what he has going. Um, the times where I pull up to my mom's house to make sure she's good because she lost her mom, and that's a very, very like it's a very tough line to navigate, but love is always the answer. So I just try to meet my family where they are and love them where they are, so they don't feel like they have to conform to be in the presence of each other.
Last question I have for you, man.
What you got,
What
my
is your
guy?
favorite scripture in life? Like something, a scripture that's always stuck dear to your heart. And what does that particular scripture mean to you?
Matthew 6:33, I believe. Seek ye first his righteousness, and all of these things will be added upon you.
Hmm.
Um, because it's like I was saying before, it's intentional. It's how you like we get 24 hours a day, and we kind of I hate that I keep going into we, but I kind of get lost in the time frame because we think that we just have to like divide 90% of our day or we can't have any alone time or we just think it's so big that we can't achieve it, but each second that you devote is something that you can't take for granted, and as you continue to make steps forward it magnifies and also the impact of it magnifies. So I would say just being more so intentional to the time frame that you are and with the people that you have in your life, it it makes a difference in like the relationships that you build, the bonds that you make, and when you keep putting your foot forward and you don't like sometimes you don't have the best day, but if you just continue to push forward, you'll just turn around and you see how much you went, and it was only going to happen if you was intentional about it and you made time for the things that will always keep you, will never forsake you, and will always love you.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Love on your people more. Don't stop doing that because um, it holds true that we're made from love. So, in any capacity that we can give it, the impact that it has on people you can't measure it. The inconvenience that we may have now, like we have the ability to feel and to experience those things. So be in the moment and take what you can from them.
Turn on the lamp, I don't go postal till God give his stamp. We going global, I'm in with the champs. I sit at the Oval, they told me I can't, Turn on the lamp, I don't go postal till God give his stamp. We going global, I'm in with the champs. I sit at the Oval, they told me I can't,